The Avengers are not coming. Who will keep the American people safe?
There's some big threat out there, and you are gonna help me stop it.
Wait, us?
Yeah, you. Why, you got someplace to be?
I love that guy.
Hello everyone, I'm Mark Ellis and welcome to the big ticket interview for Thunderbolts, the latest film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which has become legendary. And if you want legendary, I mean, just look at these A-listers that I got seated next to me right here. Julia, I feel like you have the most fun in this movie because you get to kind of control everybody else. Is that true?
Yeah, it is true. And I'm in control of you right now.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I look at it, and it's almost like I'm watching the trailer, and it feels like a ragtag sports team, like a Bad News Bears kind of situation that you've put together. So, like, what's the most deliciously, like, fun kind of thing you get to do with this cast, or make them do in a movie like this?
Well, I feel like my character's ahead of them a few steps throughout the film, and so I think that they're, I would say, constantly surprised for the most part, but they're constantly surprised. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And you love it.
And I
love it.
Yeah, she relishes it. I relish it.
I mean, I relish getting to watch something like this because I love a team that is sort of like the underdogs, right? Like, let's be honest, you probably have a big mission. The first phone call you're going to make, the first thing that comes up if you search Google would be the Avengers, right? That's like the team. But then you have these Thunderbolts, so I want y'all to sell me as Thunderbolts. Why would I go to you for my special mission, not the Avengers?
Yeah, sell it.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Good.
We
try really hard.
It would mean a lot more to us.
Yeah.
A win would mean a lot more to us.
Yeah, it's not conventional.
You know?
Like we're gonna find a really awful way of doing it. There will be plenty of broken walls, and I'm sure many
Property damage.
Yeah. But we will get it done with style.
Personality.
Yes. And maybe we could do with a bit more fine tuning if they would actually listen to anybody, but they don't. So there you go.
So it's like y'all are like cheaper to afford up front, but the insurance premium's probably going to go up a little more after.
100%.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
the deal's been done.
But that's fun.
It's fun
You
to
know?
watch.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch.
High insurance premiums are awesome.
Ask any teenager on the road.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. What's like the Yelp review that you would get as a superhero team? Just worked with them. How many stars we getting?
Yeah, 3.5.
Yeah,
probably.
3.5.
Wow, you are flattering
3.5.
yourselves.
It's like when you read a Yelp review and you're like, I want to go to a good restaurant that has good food. And you read it and you're like, okay, why is this it has 3.5 stars? What's wrong? And you go deep. And it's usually because the food was pretty good.
Yeah.
I went there, the food was good, but I waited for 2 hours.
Yes.
And you're like, I don't care about service as much as the food comes and I like the product.
Or
and
it's
that's
like
what you're
the
gonna
food
get.
is delicious, but it's cooked in the toilet. Like,
Right.
Like the kitchen isn't,
Right, that would be an insane Yelp review. that would be that restaurant is getting
Cooked in the toilet.
But it was delicious.
3.5 stars on Yelp.
That would be tough to come back from.
Unhinged reviewer.
I like to see that.
I didn't mind. It tasted great.
Isn't it amazing?
Then in Yelp they have the business owner can like respond. to that review. I'd love to see the response to my food was
We didn't
cooked in
have a
the toilet
pot, so
review.
we boiled the dumplings in the toilet. But clearly they're
in the
tasty.
toilet.
Guys, this is a new word now for poorly done. In the toilet.
The toilet. Like when you go to the toilet.
Oh, the bathroom. Yeah, the room.
Oh, like the
See,
bathroom.
this is
We were in the-
this is a
This is
country
a-
gap.
Yeah.
In America, a toilet is just a bowl with water in it that you do your business
Right.
in. Yes.
No, I meant like in the toilet.
in like the wash.
which would
The
not be
restroom.
great.
Right.
Great. Yeah, might get 3.5 stars.
Yeah.
In America, we
3.5
like to brag
stars.
about how many rooms we have.
Yes.
So, like, technically, I live in a 2-bedroom. One of them is the bathroom, but it's still 2
Right,
bedrooms,
right,
technically,
right.
kind of. If you want your mission accomplished, delicious, and cooked in the toilet, this is who you call.
Yeah. Who are you gonna call?
Florence, I'm watching the teaser trailer for this, and I see a quick shot of you seeing yourself. And I'm wondering, what are the two Yelenas like? How is that to play off of yourself as an
Good luck
actor,
with this question.
as a
You gonna explain
performer?
that?
Okay, so I'm so
Spoiler alert.
No, I'm not going to spoil, but I am going to talk about it because it was probably one of the best days on set. It was a really, really unique way of shooting, and I was able to do stunts knowing that it was going to be against myself, which was also just so wild, wrapping your head around that and having to figure out not only one stunt but two sides of a fight. I'm not going to go any further with that, but it was just a truly brilliant day to watch how the stunt team react to things like that, how they are so good at training to the point where I was able to learn 2 fight sequences in like just a morning. And it was just so cool. It was so cool to make sure that like I was doing every single beat appropriately so that it looked like me and so that I could then pick it up on the other side when we flipped.
And every one of y'all, you get to get your hands dirty a little bit. Like it looks like a lot of y'all get to do a lot of your own stunts in a movie like this. So who had like the toughest challenge pulling some of those things off?
I mean, you had to jump off of a...
Yeah, I did.
She jumped
was
off
for real.
the second
Tallest building in the world.
Yeah.
That was really you up there.
Oh, yes.
I saw it last night. This is true. I saw it last night right before I went to bed, and I had a nightmare that I was falling from a building,
No
so I
way.
have you to blame for that.
So I got on all the emails and I was like this, because it was in the script, and then slowly as we got closer and closer to shooting, they were like, yeah, we don't think it's going to happen. It's just going to be a crazy insurance like ordeal, and obviously we're not going to throw FP off the second tallest building in the world. And I was like, what the of course we are. We have to do that. So I was being a sassy Karen, just emailing Kevin, being like, Kevin, this is going to do wonders for the press tour. We have to do this. Yeah, and I was like, we're going to have 3 women break 3 different Guinness World Book records. We need to do this. And I just had to keep on pushing. And then they were like, okay, if you want to fall off the second tallest building in the world, we'll figure that out for you. But it wouldn't have been able to have been done without obviously every single person pulling all of the strings that needed to happen in order to make it as safe as possible for me to go off the edge.
Are you afraid of heights? Were you before this? Are you now more afraid or less afraid after pulling something like that off?
I do like jumping off high things. I've always jumped off
you did.
high rocks into the sea.
The rest of them looking at you like, what?
I don't mind heights. I quite like them. I enjoy them. But that was a whole different ball game. That was insane. The mental control I had to do that day was like, that was its own superpower. But I'm so proud that I did it. The only thing that was kind of even more scary once I'd done it was realizing that I had that level of control over my brain. And I was like, because that is something that your body should not in any way want to do. And I was kind of allowing myself that if we got up there that day and my knees buckled or like my body was unable to do, I would have to forgive myself because obviously it's completely unnatural and I've never been in that situation before. But when I did it, and we did it probably like 9 times, I remember going home and thinking, oh, I like allowed myself to do that. That was so stupid. Like my brain.
But tell that you had to take a 3-hour
Oh,
nap.
Yeah.
Every day she fell asleep for 3 hours.
I fell asleep for 3 hours
I
after
mean,
I did the stunt because my brain just went like.
Just so much like adrenaline and just everything going through, and then it's all out there, and then it's nap time.
And weirdly, when we did the jump, after I came back up, I was always unbelievably zen, like in a very, very creepy way. I was really calm. And when they were doing all of the BTS, I think they were expecting me to be like, whoa! And they like put the camera in my face and they're like, how does it feel? You must be feeling alive. And I was like, yeah, no, it was great. I stepped off and then I fell and I was so calm. And then when I got home, I went into what I can only say is like a 3-hour coma, like just deep sleep. My brain just was obviously trying to focus and process everything.
You know, I don't think you guys know this story about me. What I had to go through on this movie.
What did you have to do?
When we were
Sorry.
when we were starting to shoot this movie, I was doing some working out. And I remember Jake, the director, coming to me and saying, we don't want to get you really ripped for this movie. And so I had to start eating a lot of cookies on set.
Yeah.
And I had to do that every day. I had to eat
David, that is incredible.
The mental toll.
That is
The
you guys
discipline.
ever heard
truly
of
I find that
discipline.
so touching.
The craftsmanship.
And I used to also fall asleep
Yeah. After eating so many carbs.
for 2 hours. I would pound a bag of cookies, and then I would just nap for 2 hours.
You did though.
Usually during my own coverage of a scene.
That's very method, getting into the character of Red Guardian.
I mean, I don't want to compete with Florence in terms of who had the harder job, but I had to eat a lot of cookies.
I'll say something though.
Yeah,
You
go
did the amazing Wire gag where
I
like
did
you
do
got
that. Oh, yeah,
right
that
out
was- that
of the
was
room
pretty
at an
gnarly.
insane
Yeah.
speed, like insane.
That
and
was
then
actually
stopped.
really fun.
Yeah, that was you. You
Yeah,
did that.
That's true.
And you just heard me go like, "Meow."
It's true, and you're working for Disney, and it is like they put you on the greatest roller coaster ride
Yeah.
in the world. They harness you in. They have the team of the best people in
best
the world,
people.
and then they're just like, all right, let's set the PSI to 2,500, and they just launch you in this thing. And it's,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Amazing.
pretty spectacular. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, the rigging team are fantastic.
Yeah, the wire work.
Shout out to them.
And the
So
thing
good.
about this movie is you have this century character who's able to manipulate the world in certain ways where it requires a lot of wire work from your team. And so you get to do a lot of crazy stuff, which is super fun.
It just seems like such a blast watching this movie. And then also from your perspective, Geraldine, I'm curious how your character feels about Julia's character in terms of good boss, bad boss, worst boss you'll ever work for, somebody you never want to leave.
It starts as amazing boss. I feel like she's a girl boss even. And then it's kind of a slow realization of like, wait, what exactly is she doing here and getting up to? Yeah. But I'm just kind of, I'm on my phone the whole time. Just kind of getting concerned. Yeah.
But as a rap gift, you gave me Best Boss Ever trophy.
That's true.
Which I
That's true.
hold very near and dear to my heart.
Oh, that's very sweet. Anybody
Yes.
else get a cool rap gift from a fellow cast member? Or is Geraldine the only?
I thought
She's
I
the
gave
only one who gave me
It was the
A
best
very
rap
beautiful gift from
I've
you.
ever given.
Sweet
I think-
Hannah.
Oh, yeah.
It was the best rap gift I've ever given.
What did, oh yes, you
I just-
did.
I really had to plan it
t-shirt.
Yeah, you did. Yep.
Yeah.
That was
Do you remember
amazing.
the gift I gave you?
Yes.
Okay, that's a spoiler.
That's a spoiler, yeah. And it's on my desk at home.
Is it?
With it open, so I can see
I
it.
gave everybody a T-shirt that said
You did.
Thundercats.
That's cute.
I wear it frequently.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. It is a
fantastic.
good
Me
one.
too.
It is
It's
a
great.
good one.
Hannah and Wyatt, I'm curious as to your characters when we last saw them and how they've evolved since then. Hannah, I want to start with you because like we saw Ghost at Ant-Man and the Wasp doing a lot of cool stuff. How has your character evolved where we see them, where we meet you in Thunderbolts?
Well, she's alone. She's not. She's alone. She has where she starts. She's very much a lone wolf, and she's very much stubborn with that. And it's going to be a very difficult job to be around people and to be around these people. And also, I have to say, she has a new suit. She has a whole new suit, which is, I named her Gertrude. She's from Berlin.
The suit?
Yeah. She's from Berlin, and her theme song of the suit is Rammstein's "Du hast nicht," where so that is I've got this whole like kind of different like stance as Ghost. She's not vulnerable. She's not shaking. She's not an open nerve of fearing her death. It's this kind of control that Michelle Pfeiffer's character Janet gave her, which was this healing, where she is stronger than ever, which is dangerous.
I did not think Rammstein was going to come up during this interview. That they did. Wyatt, with your character kind of having gone through something very, traumatic, where you kind of have this cool promotion, then this demotion, where do we find you at the outset of this flick?
Same spot. You find him just sort of where you left him, and what's fun just to watch. What was fun to do for me is sort of gradient the person from this bravado guy who likes to believe or has convinced himself that he is fantastic in every way, into just more of a normal human being, more of a person who can sort of take a hint, and so that's sort of what you'll kind of see in the movie. But yeah, as far as where he starts, not much different from where he left off.
David, let's talk Red Guardian, and the best thing that Red Guardian brings to this team is?
Oh, God.
There's a follow-up to this question.
the best thing that Red Guardian brings to this team.
Cheer.
Yeah.
Good cheer. Yeah,
Totally.
He's the
Absolutely.
most
He's our cheerleader.
enthusiastic.
He's our mascot.
Positivity.
Yes, he's the
Optimism.
big
He
red
believes in a
mask.
big bunny.
Big red hairy mascot.
Yes,
Yes, absolutely.
So the Thunderbolts are playing a basketball game, and you're out there
Oh,
running.
you're
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah.
Even before the
Absolutely.
game, they're the greatest team he's ever seen.
Your weapon's a t-shirt cannon to shoot.
Exactly, yeah. Get everybody hyped up, for sure.
And then the follow-up to that is, what is the worst thing that you bring to the Thunderbolts?
His abilities. No, not true, not true. What is the worst thing he brings? I mean, I think it's the same problem.
Yeah,
It's like
Too much
not
enthusiasm.
too much hype. Yeah, it's like, come on, man. Like, let's actually solve a problem.
For all of you, anyone can feel free to jump in first. What was it like seeing Sebastian Stan on set when he's got like the Winter Soldier arm and he's like full, Bucky kick-ass mode? Is that like a cool moment for any of y'all, or is it just another
When
day
he
at the
was
office?
on a vehicle, it was a great day.
It
for
was
all
a
of
great
us.
day.
Yeah. It was a great day. In fact, we did a take where Wyatt turned around and went, Buggy! Because he just looked so cool.
I will say, though, I do have to say that there was, in that motorcycle sequence in the desert, which you've seen a lot of in the trailers, it's an incredible sequence. And of course, there's a lot of crazy stunts done on a motorcycle by a stunt motorcycle driver. And what you don't see, because it has been CGI'd away, is that the stunt motorcycle guy had a helmet with a Bucky wig on it.
And
So you had this enormous wig of hair on a motorcycle helmet.
it's like Stewie from Family Guy riding a motorcycle.
So you go from the
long
coolest
black
guy in the world,
Winter
of
Soldier
Bucky,
hair.
to the least cool guy doing the coolest motorcycle tricks you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
You have this amazing moment of not knowing reality.
That's probably one of the toughest acting challenges y'all have, is just not laughing at something like
the motorcycle.
in this serious moment.
And bless him, he's fantastic. He's like the best motorcycle
The stunts were incredible,
stuntman
but you
in
put
the
him
wo-
in
stunt
a
driver in the world.
gigantic
I know.
egghead.
Yeah. And some goggles that I wouldn't put on my worst enemy. but-
Every one of y'all have gotten some pretty good MCU reps by this point in your career with this. Have you received any great words of wisdom, some advice from someone who is an MCU veteran, like a Sebastian, or even somebody who's been in the movies for longer than that?
Don't run into the furniture and remember your lines.
Who told you that? Or is that just basically
no.
good for anybody?
That's me telling the next person. I did receive, before I came on, I asked James Gunn, who had directed Guardians. I was just like, should I do it? Because I don't know, they don't tell you what it is when you first sign on, really. It's a little ambiguous. And he said, look, you make your bet with Marvel. And they do a good job of making sure that, what's going to come out of the thing you're doing is going to be the best product that, they can put out. And I was excited about that possibility because I like working hard on things, and I like working hard on things with people that like to work hard on things. And this was no different, and that bet came true for me, and I hope for everybody else too. But this was the hardest working group of people on one of these types of movies that I've ever known about. That's what makes it special.
The thing that I feel, you talk about these types of movies, and there was that quality to this, but there was also the quality. I mean, you just talked about that Florence with herself thing. The movie references we had on this movie was like being John Malkovich, like these crazy,
And that's Jake.
indie,
That's Jake.
and
And
that
that's
was
Jake,
the
our
director who
director.
wanted to continue to tear it apart and to break it down. And I remember Sebastian being the most seasoned of us in this universe. He's been doing these movies for 10 years. Kind of would come in and be like, no, let's tear it apart. Even him, in terms of, we wanted to take these tropes and these characters and sort of rebuild them in a kind of grounded indie movie that has a lot of humor, but a lot of heart around mental illness, around struggling with surviving, around the difficulties of being in isolation with a power as opposed to in relationship with others. How do we transcend these things? How do we not destroy ourselves through these judgments? And I think, so you do have this incredible Marvel movie, but you also have this heart of like a bunch of great actors getting great material and just digging in as hard as we can to find the emotional, true realities of them.
And those two kind of components coming together usually make for the best movies. When you see the title Thunderbolts, there's that asterisk right there. To the field, anyone who wants to take it. What does that asterisk mean?
It's a dangerous game, this. dangerous game, and I don't think any of us are allowed to speak.
No one's going to answer that question.
So we're just going to sit here and smile at you.
It's going to be silent.
It's the first time you've ever seen a movie with an asterisk.
I can't think of another one.
I can't think of another one either.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's been a lot of movies. It's been about 100 years of movies,
Jake's a
right?
clever bunny.
Yeah.
Just to be cool. It's there just to be cool.
It's just
Right.
cool.
It's cool punctuation.
It's cool.
I did come up with
We
an
couldn't
alternate
afford
question.
the exclamation point.
In case that was a spoilery question, I didn't want to end on that. I wanted to end on something good. And this is the best thing I came up with. When you're a kid in school, you're taught that there's no stupid questions. Julia, I'm about to put that to the test.
Oh, God.
If you, as your character,
Yes.
are sending out the crew from Seinfeld on a mission,
I knew it. I knew something like this was coming.
who is the last one standing?
Oh. You mean if they're my Thunderbolts?
If they're your Thunderbolts,
Who's the last one standing?
who's the last one? Who's going to survive
Who's the last
this?
one alive?
Yeah.
Wow, we're talking about killing people?
Well,
Yeah, the cast of Seinfeld, too.
You're sending the cast of Seinfeld into slaughter. Who's gonna fight the hardest?
to stay
be alive.
You're looking at her.
Yeah! Hey, man. And very true. That's the right answer.
You have the suit. You have the Get Out
100%.
superpower.
Yeah,
you know?
That's
exactly.
the right answer.
Yeah. See,
Lame.
that's the right answer. Tickets are available right now at Fandango for Thunderbolts. For the cast, my name is Mark Ellis. Thanks so much for joining us here at the Big Ticket. We'll see you next time.